So, 1.5 days ago, when Krishna Karuna requested me to speak this morning, she kindly suggested that I pick a verse from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, because the Sunday lectures on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are some verses about Srimati Radharani, or where she's mentioned, and she said I can just freely pick a verse. And that was very difficult, because there are so many verses and they are so nice, all of them. So it's practically an impossible task. But I kind of like, of course I read through quite some of them, and I came upon this one. And this is from the Adi Lila, chapter 4, and this is verse 99 and 100. And we will chant 99 and 100 is like together. But we will first chant. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Advaita Chanda Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chanda Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Advaita Chanda Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chanda Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Advaita Chanda Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chanda Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda.
So, Prema Bhakti, what is the melody again? Prema Bhakti Shikate Apane Avatari Radha Bhava Kantidu Akikara Kari Shri Chaitanya Rupe Kaila Avatara Ita Pancha Shokera Atara Parachara. I will just do the word to word translation, because it's not written. Prema Bhakti. Devotional service in love of Godhead. Sakaite. To teach. Apane. Himself. Avatari. Descending. Radha Bhakta. Sorry, that was wrong. Radha Bhava. In the mood of Srimati Radharani. Kanti. And luster. Dvi. Two. Agikarikari. Accepting. Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Rupe. In the form. Kaila. Made. Avatara. Incarnation. This. Ta. Certainly. Panchama. Fifth. Slokera. Of the verse. Ata. Meaning. Parachara. Proclamation. So, the translation is to promulgate Prema Bhakti, devotional service in love of Godhead. Krishna appeared as Sri Chaitanya with the mood and complexion of Sri Radha, Thus I have explained the meaning of the 5th verse. So of course we would like to know what is the 5th verse. But before we go there, I just would like to... sometimes there is an English word that we don't understand. And then you kind of like want to look it up in the dictionary. And when you do that, then you just understand that Srila Prabhupada is a complete genius. Of course, you knew that already, but when you happen to do that small exercise to find a word that you don't know and you look it up. So there's the second verse, the second word, to promulgate prema bhakti. So what does promulgate mean?
Something like propagate.
Yeah, it's like something like. So I looked it up, and this is interesting because there's two renderings of the verse, and it's to spread an idea or belief to as many people as possible. So it's like really going for it. It's like not just a little bit, sprinkle some little water, but to really reach the masses of the people. And then the second meaning is to make a new law come into effect by announcing it officially. So there are laws, and these laws, if there's a new law which is when a new law come into effect, then some of the old laws, they may not rule anymore. Because after the new law is officially proclaimed or announced, then that law will be in effect. So what was it that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he appeared to promulgate, to put into law Krishna Bhakti. This would be the new law. Before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there was not that form of devotional service. We are now at this time, we think, we have Radha Krishna deities, and this is Radharani and Radharani ki jai, and for us it's like so kind of like normal. But in the tradition, even in the Vaishnava tradition, that goes back thousands and thousands of years, the Radha Bhakti, or the Bhakti of Prema Bhakti, that was first really revealed with the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he put that new mood of devotion into law. After that, the other ways of devotion, they are still there. You can still see the worship of Lakshmi Narayan. You can still see different other forms of Krishna worship, especially throughout India. You can see you can even see in the Western tradition, they are also kind of like worship of God. But that very special Prema Bhakti, that was put into law by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and this is just like 500 years ago. It's like just such a short time ago. It's like really amazing. We have to think about it because we take it for so granted. It's like becoming a normal thing, but it's not at all normal. And we are really fortunate that we are here at this time, in this moment in time, and we can take part and have some experience. So we want to know what the 5th verse is, because this is what... So the 5th verse, that's the very 5th verse of the Adi Leela. The loving affairs of Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestations of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, they separated themselves eternally. Now these two transcendental identities have again united in the form of Sri Chaitanya. I bow down to him who has manifested himself with the sentiment and the complexion of Srimati Radharani, although he is Krishna himself. And in the 6th verse there is some little bit explanation, so we will read that also. Desiring to understand the glory of Radharani's love, the wonderful qualities in him that she alone relishes through her love, and the happiness she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love, the Supreme Lord Hari, richly endowed with her emotions, appeared in the womb of Srimati Sachidevi as the moon appears from the ocean. So these two verses, they are in the very beginning of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and within the chapters following, where Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj is slowly explaining these verses, he comes to talk about the reasons why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. And there are 3 reasons. Usually we think about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he appeared to spread the glories of the holy name. But when you read through this part of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, you understand that this is only the 3rd reason, kind of like by the way reason. That's the reason that we benefit from the most. His other reasons was to taste the love that Srimati Radharani is feeling. And that is very confidential reason, and it is very difficult for us to understand. But because of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like Srila Rupa Goswami, he came to see Lord Chaitanya at one time, and he praised Lord Chaitanya with this very famous verse that most of us speak at least once a day or even more times a day, according to how often we offer prasad. So it's like Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Preme Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Te Tanya Namne Gora Trishna Namaha. So this verse we chant very regularly when we offer prasadam. And the first time I personally came into contact with this verse, it was given in a magazine, Back to Godhead, but this magazine is in Swedish, Krishna's World, also Krishna's World. And in this, I come from Denmark, but Swedish is like another dialect, you can kind of like understand it. It's like a little more sweet, maybe, than the Danish language. So when you read something in that language, it's kind of like it touches the heart a little more. The Swedish people, Anton is here, the Swedish people, they kind of like sing. Ja, det är bra, so they sing, their language is like more like singing. So I got this, the devotees, I came to the Sunday feast 1 or 2 times, and then they gave me this and say, you can offer your food at home. You just need to chant these mantras. And I was at home and I was trying, and then when I started to read this verse about Lord Chaitanya, I was so moved. I was like, who is this person? you know. And in this translation is maybe different from the translation in the Madhya Lila where the verse come from. Shall I say it in Swedish? Yes. Jag frambärer mina djupa vänner iför den högsta härske Krishna Chaitanya som är mer storsint än någon annan avatar. Och till och med Krishna i egen person. Eftersom han frikosigt skänker det som ingen annan någonsin har givit. Rena Guds kärlek. So this is like melts your heart. I will give you the English translation of this kind, you know, this verse. And it's like, I offer my respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is more magnanimous than any other avatar. Even he is Krishna himself. Still he is more magnanimous, since he generously gives that which no one has ever given before. Pure love of God. So, when I read this, I was thinking, who is this person? I want to know more about this person. So, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is because of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that we have any understanding or any, you know, like Srimati Radharani, she doesn't even kind of like appear in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam because of there are more reasons. Even in the whole body of the Vedas, she is known as Veda Gopya. This means she is hidden in the pages of the Vedas. She's like hidden. Because Krishna, he ordered Yogamaya to make sure that every time there is a place where Srimati Radharani is mentioned, then that part of the scripture should be very difficult to understand. Like you really have to kind of like really be a great philosopher even to understand that that's a hint and that is Radharani. So she is not. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami, he didn't, you know, the reason why he didn't speak directly about Srimati Radharani, it's because he is known to be in the spiritual world one of two parrots. There's Sukha and Sari, Sukha and Sari. So these two parrots, because Radha and Krishna, they are not always in the same place. So these two parrots, they are always bringing messages forth and back. So Sukha Deva Goswami, his Istadeva or his beloved master is Srimati Radharani. So if he had spoken her name, he could not have continued speaking because he would have been choked and he would not have known what he is speaking about because he would have been in ecstasy. So he only hinted to Srimati Radharani. So how is it that now we know so much? I mean, we have list of her qualities, we have so many different forms of her name, we have, you know, we even chant her name, you know, which is like, and we don't fall into ecstasy, you know, that's our misfortune, you know. But because like Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he appeared, and like Krishna, he said, he told Yogamaya, you should make sure that Radharani, she is hidden until I appear. So Krishna, he wanted to appear himself to reveal his most confidential servant, Srimati Radharani, and that he did as Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So even the first deities which were found and worshipped by the close associate of Lord Chaitanya, like Rupa Goswami, he found the Govinda deity in the ground, and it was excavated and worshipped and like that. These deities, they were just deities of Krishna. There was no Radharani. And also Advaitacharya, he found the Madan Mohan deity, and it was also just a Krishna deity. Not just, but it was Krishna, like that. So, after the disappearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Janavi Devi, the wife of Lord Nityananda, she established that all of these deities, there was a big festival, and she established that all of these deities, they are worshipped along with a deity of Srimati Radharani. So she made sure that we have like Radha Krishna deities today. And we have also like the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. You can make a very nice exercise in your own life. You can go to, I don't know what the page is, but you can go to a page where you will see all the ISKCON Radha Krishna deities. And then under each, there will say the name of the deities, and it will say where they are. And you can see all these beautiful deities, and you can see sometimes Radharani, she's like almost as big as Krishna. They're like kind of like equals, Sometimes she's like much smaller and much more delicate, and you can see they look so different all over the world, like kind of like a little bit reflecting the mood of the place they're worshipped. But it's everywhere, it's the Radha Krishna deities. So today we are celebrating the appearance day of Srimati Radharani, which is we want to know who she is, because you cannot love somebody if you do not know anything about them. You cannot just love a void. There has to be some qualities and some personal, something personal you need to know. Otherwise you cannot love. The last thing my husband said before he left this morning was, Srimati Radharani, she was born blind. And she could first open her eyes when she saw Krishna. I kind of like, wow, what a detail, what a nice thing. I have a list with some of the qualities. It's actually, her qualities, that's also explained here in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, that the qualities, although they are completely full, her qualities are completely full, the love is completely full, to the brim is full, but it's still expanding. It's like mystical, So, but there are like 25 chief transcendental qualities of Srimati Radharani, and I don't know if I'll read all of them, but just that we can get a little idea. It's often said that Krishna, he's like a thunderbolt, and Srimati Radharani, she's like the rose. She's like the person who invites us to serve. We cannot serve Krishna directly. We need somebody who gives us credit, who says this person has something to offer to Krishna. And that person who helps us and gives us credit is Srimati Radharani. She puts in a word for us. She's very kind. She will see the smallest service. And she will see within our heart, she will see if we have a sincere desire to serve. And she also has another form, a quite distant form, of Maya. And that form, she will see if we are not sincere. And she will give us so many other opportunities. And this is because of her love for Krishna. Because she does not want unsincere devotion to Krishna. She wants sincere devotion to Krishna. So she will keep us occupied for a long time. Lifetime after lifetime, she will keep us occupied with all kinds of other things than Krishna, or Krishna consciousness. Because she is not going to disturb Krishna with unsincere love. So she's like testing us in one sense. But she is so kind that if there is some little bit sincerity within our heart, she will help us. She will give us opportunities, she will give us association, she will give us enlightenment, she will give us time to reflect and time to absorb ourselves. And when she appears on the altar, some people, they will come and they will stand in front of the altar and they only see flowers. They see flowers and colors. They cannot see that there are somebody there, But we are very fortunate because we can come in front of the altar and we can present ourselves, we can take darshan, we can say, here, I give myself to you, and we can directly have that association. So there are some of her qualities, like she's very sweet. That's like the rose, this rose quality. She's very sweet. She's always freshly youthful. I mean, we know Krishna, he is Nava Yovana. He is also like an eternal youth. And of course, Srimati Radharani, she's also like an eternal youth. We have the young people here in the room, what is the youth like, that's full of energy, and it's, I think there's even like a peak in beauty in every person in the youth, it's not that when the years go on you become more beautiful. No, it will never happen. There's like a peak, So this freshly youthful, full of energy, that is of course also there. Her eyes are restless. What does that mean? It means that she cannot see something that's not Krishna. She looks and looks, and if there is not Krishna, her eyes will keep moving. She smiles brightly. There's always this, because she has so much love that it has to come out in the form of a smile, in the form of, There are some kind of people, even within this world, who kind of like saintly persons, like maybe even like Jesus, or like saintly persons. When people come within their aura, they are kind of like absorbed within it because it has so much energy. And even like a smile. I mean, I know when Srila Prabhupada stayed at the house of the Agarwals in Pennsylvania, Mrs. Agarwal, she would say his smile was oceanic. It was just so big, like a whole ocean, So when he smiled, it was like a whole ocean. So this is like, her smile is bright. she is very expert in singing. That we may know that she is very expert in singing, and that the gopis, they chant and sing together. But did you also know that she is very expert in playing the flute? Maybe you didn't know. Sometimes she plays the flute. And the flute is, we know that Krishna, he plays the flute. And playing the flute is something very special, because when you play the flute, you are making music with your breath. You can live without food for months, you can live without water maybe for weeks, maybe just 1 week, but you can live without water for some time. But you cannot live without air. Just a few minutes, and then the life is gone from this body. But when you make music, like singing, this is also making music, and playing the flute, you use that very life air which sustains you to make music. And that's a very special, other instruments, they are kind of like remote. This is like a remote, I just push some buttons with my fingers. I'm not that involved, but when you play the flute or when you sing, that's a whole different, because it's an offering with your life air. So Krishna plays the flute, and Srimati Radharani, she also plays the flute. Her speech is very charming. She may even say things that are not so easily to understand. I don't know all these leelas. I'm not kind of like a leela person. But those who know all the leelas, they would find tons of things that she would say, which means one thing and seems to mean something else, which is like really charming and really cunning. And that comes to the next point also. She's very expert in joking and speaking pleasantly. So that there's always like the light, funny kind of like mood. But still, she is very meek and humble. And if we know if we even know a little bit of the Leelas, just a little bit, we will understand that Srimati Radharani, she is very much like a team player. She is the leader. It's also one of her qualities. She is the chief gopi. But she is very much a team player, and she's very much in the mood, you do this for Krishna, you do this for Krishna. She wants to get everybody involved. She's not interested at all in just serving Krishna herself. It should be like a team effort. And she's meek and humble. She's humble. She sees the qualities in others and try to inspire them and help them, and even in us, when you read the Leelas, then you understand, yes, these are all the gopis, they are so qualified, kind of like, but even she extends that kindness even to us. She's always full of mercy. We talk about these qualities, but all of these qualities, because Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is Srimati Radharani. He has her complexion and her mood. So he also has all these qualities. He's not like the chief gopi, but he has the qualities and the mood of Srimati Radharani, and especially being full of mercy. She's shy, she's respectful, she's calm, she's grave. She is situated in the topmost level of ecstatic love. We say Mahabhav, but Mahabhav is like there are only 3 persons who will ever attain Mahabhav. That's Madhavendra Puri, Srimati Radharani, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For everybody else, Mahabhav is closed. But we can serve Mahabhava, we can worship Mahabhava, we can, we can have we can hear about that love, but we will never be able to experience Mahabhava because it's like closed for these 3 personalities. Srimati Radharani, she has a tender-hearted, compassionate nature. And she's on our altar. And she should also be on the altar of our heart. She should be there in everything we do. And that's very difficult. And therefore, we have an easier path. And the easier path is that we serve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because he has come in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He has come in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but in the mood of Srimati Radharani, and his mission can help us. I mean, we cannot even understand anything about Srimati Radharani if we have not had a taste of the Sankirtan mission. If we have not at one point really surrendered ourselves in the process of the Sankirtan mission. Srila Prabhupada, he was very much, what do we say, the Srila Prabhupada's pranam? Gauravani Pacharine. He come in the, to Gauravani Pacharine. We say he come in the mission of Lord Chaitanya. I like very much about almost to the day, 55 years ago, Srila Prabhupada was on the Jaladuta on the way to America, and he had 2 heart attacks on the way. And after these 2 heart attacks, he was feeling better a few days later, and his entry to his diary, this is Friday, September 10th, 1965. In the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, Srila Prabhupada, on the steamer bound for America, wrote in his ship diary, "Today the ship is playing very smoothly. I feel today better, but I am feeling separation of Shri Vrindavan and my lords, Shri Govinda, Shri Gopinath, and Radha Damodar. My only solace is Shri Chaitanya Chaitamrita, in which I am tasting the nectar of Lord Chaitanya's Leela. I have left Bharata Bhumi just to execute the order of Shri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati in pursuance of Lord Chaitanya's order. I have no qualification, but I have taken up the risk just to carry out the order of His divine grace. I depend fully on their mercy so far away from Vrindavan." And then 3 days later, he writes a song, which is a prayer to the lotus feet of Krishna. And this song, it's a wonderful, wonderful song, but I personally find the best part of the song is the verse, the refrain, which is sang between each of the verses, which is Krishna tabe punya habe bai, e punya kaibe jabe Radharani kushahaib, dure ati boli tore tai. And this, between each of the 9 verses, this verse is again and again repeated. I emphatically say to you, O brothers, you will attain the good fortune of the Supreme Lord Krishna only when Srimati Radharani becomes pleased with you. So this is again giving us the reason why today we should especially take shelter of Srimati Radharani, because without her mercy, we have no, we will not come to Krishna. So I have spoken something, I'm sure. You heard whatever you needed to hear, or you picked out the point which meant something to you. Maybe if there is a question or a comment, we can talk. Yeah.
Also, thank you very much for this wonderful, nice explaining in this deep truth. So to understand, for us, they have the opportunity to spread the holy name. So outside from our movement, so it is so good how nobody knows Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, and we can explain Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his unbelievable mercy when we don't understand self, Srimati Radharani. But I read it in the last days that she is everything doing to bring new devotees to the Lord. That is her main service. And he appeared in her really deep shyness in the body from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with Krishna together, what to do to bring millions and millions of people to the Lord. So why? Without her mercy, without the mercy from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is it not possible to serve the Lord. It's not too understandable. She is giving us intelligence to understand it. But when we think, oh, we can serve Krishna and Krishna everywhere, and that is correct. But the mercy is not flowing to become deeper understanding. And it is so important to understand her personality. And then again in the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that we understand how it is really functioning the truth, and then open the space to understand this really Lila Kata. Otherwise it's not possible. Otherwise we hear a story and think, oh, what a nice story. But this is not the emotion, what is inside the story. That has to be touched us, that we can come forward without emotion in the love of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and in the love of Srimati Radharani, in the serving mood. We don't understand the Lord, and also not, this is not allowed to enter in the Lila Kata. So for us to come forward, and the way, for us the way is back at home, to home.
Yeah, I mean, that was a synopsis of the whole class I just gave. Thank you, Ramgopal. You just summed it everything up, what I said, more or less. Yeah, it is, we are very much dependent on the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But I somehow personally have the realization, that's my personal realization, that the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kind of like comes first. The mercy of the holy name, the mercy of, especially if you take some form of Krishna consciousness, be it prasadam, be it the holy name, be it the books of Srila Prabhupada, if you take some part of this condensed Krishna consciousness and you give it to somebody, who didn't know anything about it before, then it somehow multiplies for yourself. It's like you get double mercy if you give it away. The more you give, the more you give, the more you give, the more you give, the more you get. You have to keep giving. And even if you're the most selfish person to walk the planet, you have to give Krishna consciousness to others, because that's the only way you will have a taste. Otherwise it will be all kinds of, the books are thick, there are so many words inside, there's so much knowledge, theoretical knowledge, you can know so much, but if you have not had the taste of giving Krishna consciousness to other persons, you will not be able to understand it. I remember when I met the devotees, in the very beginning I met devotees on Harinam, and they were distributing halava. They were chanting and they were distributing halava, and there was this one devotee, and now I know who she is. It was Ayati, whoever knows Ayati, she's a very nice devotee. So there was this one devotee and she was giving halava, and I kind of I liked it, so I came a second time. And then I liked it more, and I came a third time. And the more I came, the more she just gave me, and she became so happy, just filling up on me, kind of she gave me a whole thing, I kind of and she was laughing and giving me all this. And I understood instantly that whoever these people are, whatever they're doing, they are not within the rules of the material world. It's not, there is no material logic in what they do, because normally if you go somewhere, like in the supermarket, they are giving out grapes or some, cheese or something, you try. If you come a second time, they look strange at you, if you come a third time, you say, you have to buy one of these, There is not that mercy. So if we experience the mercy ourselves, like I definitely experienced that mercy at that point, we will know, we will have to do the same. We will have to give that mercy away, and we have to give more and more away. Even Srila Prabhupada, he had just gotten 25 copies of the first, or maybe it was 50, or maybe it was 100 copies. It was like a stack of the first printing of the Krishna book. A limited amount, the first printing, before the rest of the printing would come, it would take maybe weeks, maybe months, but he had got the first printing, and he kind of sold them on a Harinam. And he sold the last one also. He didn't even keep one for himself. And the devotees were like, what is he doing? He has to keep at least one, it's the first printing. No, he just gave it. There was no keeping for himself at any point. And this we have to come to that point. Otherwise our Krishna consciousness will just become dry, like a cactus, There's no... You see, the tulsis, they look so beautiful, There's so much bhakti, so much life in them, They're This should be our growth, strong and green and full of life. But this can only come if we give. And this is the mood of Sri Chaitanya. This is what Rupa Goswami says. You give this to the most unqualified. Namo Mahavadanyaya. What are you doing? You're giving this to the most fallen. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he just kept giving. And I know it when they made the Padayatra, Lokanath Swami, they made the Padayatra for the 500th anniversary of Lord Chaitanya, where they went all the way to all the villages exactly the route that Lord Chaitanya had gone 500 years before. And they came to these remote villages, which had no contact with, the world, but where Lord Chaitanya had been 500 years before. And they would meet people who knew about Lord Chaitanya, because they had been, embraced by his mercy. So okay, people doesn't know maybe Lord Chaitanya, but I mean, I wanted to give you a gift today, but then I thought, who am I to give you a gift? Crazy. But I have a very nice gift. I should have brought it. That's you should find it yourself. There is Janavi. She's very known Kirtaniya. Janavi Harrison, the son of Kripa Moya from England. Janavi. She's a very known Kirtaniya, the female known Kirtaniya in ISKCON. She made a song together with Willow, who is the daughter of Will Smith, who is a very famous actor and musician and like that. So Willow, she's like 20 years old now, beautiful young woman, and they made the song together. They made the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu song, Krishna 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 Hey, no? Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rakshamam. So this song, they have made together a recording of this song. It's so beautiful. They just, these two beautiful lady voices blending, and Willow, she plays a guitar, and Janavi, she plays her violin, and it's just so beautiful. And then there's a discussion with these two great souls, and Willow, she's a young, I mean, she was like a pop star when she was 10 years old, she has like 7 million followers on Instagram. She's like a popular person, she has had her up and down with popularity, being the daughter of a giant, kind of like, But she has found her own way, and there's a discussion with these two persons, and she tells how Krishna consciousness came to her, and how it just touched her heart so much, this ancient, and after she had one kirtan, where she had not just seen it online, but when she was sitting in a kirtan with the devotees, she said, after that one kirtan, I wanted that everything I do should be permeated, like full of this divine energy. Everything I do. So it completely kind of like touched her so deeply. And then she made like this song with Janavi. They came together and made this song, which is really beautiful. I should have brought it, but you have to find it yourself. But I mean, it goes out, and a person who get touched by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they kind of like, they really get the mercy.
Well, thank you very much. This was a very nice, interesting point. Where before 20 years, I remember myself, I was thinking Krishna consciousness is completely going down in the United States. But there was no action, nothing was going on and so on. And then, this consciousness was setting up before, this starts slowly to become grower, and now the young people, they accept that when they have a completely understanding from this way, they have so much information with 10 years and so on, or 12 years and 14 years. And it is so simple for them to accept. When I hear that, so 7 million people will hear that, and so this will automatically spread exactly what Chaitanya described by the verse from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It will automatically spread it. Nobody can stop that.
Nobody can stop it. You only have to make one decision. And one decision only. Do you want to be part of it or not? Do you want to be part of Lord Chaitanya? Because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission is going to spread. That is for sure. So, do you want?
Doubt.
No, there is no doubt. This is an absolute fact. The mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to, from the time of, we are in the Kali Yuga, but it's always like after the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after the appearance of Krishna, there are so many Kali Yugas or so many Satya Yugas, what is the last Yuga? There are so many times where Krishna appears. But it's not so often that after Krishna's appearance that Lord Chaitanya appears. So this has happened. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears, after his appearance, although it's a Kali Yuga which is known for the misery and the cheating and the misconceptions and the struggle and all, going downward all the way, Although this is Kali Yuga, after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance, there will be 10,000 years, which will be like the golden age, which will culminate. And Srila Prabhupada, his books, Srila Prabhupada, he says, these books will be the law books for these 10,000 years. So Srila Prabhupada, he was sent like after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because some knowledge is needed. So Srila Prabhupada compiled and made available to us the Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Chaitamrita, everything that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates left, like Sri Chaitanya, all the things that the Goswamis left, and the commentaries by the different acharyas on the Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada, he summarized everything and put everything, whatever they all has commented, all the great sages before, he put in his Bhagavatam for these 10,000 years. And we are just like 520 something, in these 10,000 years. So for sure, this is happening. It's just our only choice: do we want to be part of it or not? So this is our choice. And Lord Chaitanya, he's reaching so many people with the chanting. It's like, and this song is so beautiful, Rama Raghava, it's so beautiful. Krishna, it's like so beautiful. It's like really beautiful. So people, they will just put it on a loop and they will hear it again and again and again and again because it's just so beautiful. And their plan is, after the lockdown or after the corona thing, they are going to meet again and make more music. So she's not finished making Krishna music. And she's just one person. There are so many persons who take to Krishna consciousness in different forms. We have no idea. We think, the temple is empty, there's no devotees, but this is not true.
It's really not true.
That's not true. There are so many devotees. Something else? Yeah.
Actually, during this lockdown, I think it's spreading even more. Because now this media and this internet, which was used for materialists to control the world, it's actually now devotees are actually are using for spreading it, and it's going so fast, much faster than it was possible before. And Kirtan is all the time going all around the world, because there are different time zones, and all the time somewhere the holy names are singing. And this is why Prabhupada says this material world will let it, be completely destroyed, but because of the Lord Chaitanya's movement now, and now it's going before every golden age, before the flourishing, some clearing should be there, like Buddhichamasa, like before Ratha Yatra, it's also cleaning of the temples so that the Lord can be. So it's now going on, the purification of the whole world, also the purification of our hearts, and those who allow themselves to be purified, who can hear and can apply, because ego is not so big and false one, then they will be the part of it. If they are not ready and they cannot overcome this egoistic mentality, then they will be removed in some way in the world and in also persons like this. And I just wanted to say something. There was so much, because we were saying actually how this is so rare actually, that Lord Chaitanya comes, and also even in India, which is like a holy country, Bharatvarsha, where always spirituality was there and all the avatars appeared there. Even there, as you say, even of those Vaishnava Sampradayas which are there, even of these four Vaishnava, only one is Brahma,
Gaudiya Vaishnava.
Gaudiyas, where Lord Chaitanya appeared. It's so little actually. These Gaudiyas actually are just in Vrindavan and Mayapur, that's it, from whole India. And actually even in India now it's spreading, and it's not so easy because they worship everyone and anyone. So it's very, 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 very rare. And because it's so exotic and so intimate, and they cannot, sometimes I met some Indian in Harinam, and then we speak, this Lord who has 16,000 wives, cannot accept. They are so much into this, Vedic tradition.
But the point is, Lord Chaitanya, he only spoke philosophy with very few people.
Yes, very
He made the chanting, the prasadam, the kirtan, the coming together, the kirtan. This he made for everybody. The dancing, the chanting, the feasting, he made for everybody. That they could have a taste of Krishna consciousness. But he didn't speak philosophy with many. It's you read through the Srila Prabhupada, he compiled the teaching of Lord Chaitanya, which is more or less all the philosophical discussions that Lord Chaitanya had. Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, you will see one chapter after the other will be all the philosophy that.
It's very much a small book.
It's a small book. It's a small.
It's condensed.
It's the condensed philosophy that Lord Chaitanya talked, and it's very deep and it's very sweet also. But it's the chanting and the coming together and the spreading of Krishna consciousness through the holy name. This was for like everybody, and the philosophy we need to be a little serious to try to understand the philosophy. But like this Willow person, she kind of like got it kind of like instant, because she was so much touched by the kirtan. So this can also happen. Yeah. Okay, we want to.
The mercy of the Lord. Thank you so much.
Jai Shri Radhe.
So my dear devotees, please don't run away in 3 minutes.